everybody, it's Knife here, and today we're going to be talking about Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. So this is a sequel to the original Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which I made a video on. You can watch that right here. And yeah, it took everything that made the first game good and just made it great. So originally released on February 23rd in 2016 in the US and February 25th, 2016 on the US. There was also an open beta on, I believe it was January 14th to the 18th of 2016. And that was something actually I played because I loved the first Garden Warfare game. So playing that second one, I actually wasn't a fan first off. I think it was kind of just child me didn't like change, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of a lot of the new things the game had to offer. But now, after almost 10 years, I gotta say the game does have a special place in my heart. So starting off with the overworld, they threw away the menus and now we just have an overworld where you can do everything. Here you can go into multiplayer, single player, change your characters, and basically the little gist of the map is that it is a turf war between the plants and the zombies. So there's two sides, one being suburbia and one being zomburbia. Depending on which side you choose, there will be enemies traversing the map, and the more you fight, the harder they get, eventually with boss enemies even showing up. Now, in the middle of the map, there's this big flag if you haven't noticed. This is called the Flag of Power. Now, this is kind of like Garden Ops in that you're trying to defend one spot from a bunch of enemies. But it's different because it is endless waves and you're just trying to see how long you can go for. It rewards a decent amount of gold or currency or whatever it is. I don't know, the coins. And yeah, it can be pretty fun. Sorry about that, y'all. We got a new little kitten, so we have two now. We have Xerxes and we have Kabuki. So we gotta separate them because now, so me personally, I've never had cats before I've met my girlfriend, but now we have two, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, they're both cute little guys. But Xerxes, he's the older one. He's really excited to play with Kabuki. I was actually worried at first that he was gonna be really mean because I had seen videos on Instagram and stuff of like cats just not enjoying each other's company when introduced. But no, Xerxes loves him. He's just like too rough. He doesn't know his own strength. They're just both little babies. So I gotta separate them while I'm doing this and while I can't, be right there and keep an eye on them to make sure, the big kitty's not too rough. But, alright. So there's not just a Flag of Power in the overworld. This time around there are single player missions. So basically, each team has their own set of missions and they can range from anything from escort missions to a few rounds of Garden Ops. I think that they give a lot of character and they can be, like the dialogue can be pretty fun. I'm trying not to say as much. It's hard. I noticed, especially in the last video, I say a lot. And I'm trying to cut that out. But it's like a mental thing. I gotta keep like a mental note. I mean, I even just said, So as a reward for each mission, you get some coins, and the coin value doesn't change based on what difficulty you're doing for the mission. I really think it's fun how whichever team you're playing for, it feels like you're really rooting for and you don't want the other team to win. Like if you're doing an escort mission for the plants, all the zombies that come your way, you're like, oh, fuck you, you stupid pieces of shit. But the second you're on the zombies team, it's all brains for the win, But once you beat all the missions on both sides, you get a neat little reward, that being a game mode. This new game mode is called Infinity Time, and you gotta stay with me here. So, depending on which team you're on, Plants or Zombies, you get either dinosaurs or kittens. Now, with these dinosaurs and kittens, you are teleported to Infinity. And in Infinity, there are the gnomes. And in Infinity, there are the gnomes. And they're Gnome King, Gnomus. Now, you have to vanquish the gnomes and collect their essence. And also make sure that you don't die. Sorry, Xerxes was just so worried about his little brother. Oh, okay, I remember what I was saying. Basically, it kind of feels like if a game, like a third-person shooter game that wasn't inspired by Plants vs. Zombies, had their own take on what like a Garden Ops mode would be. Because it's pretty similar, but it's like different enough to warrant being its own game mode. And also at the end, you're able to hold the essence or whatever it's called from the gnomes for ransom to Gnomus, because he doesn't want you to steal the gnome essence. So you can hold it for ransom for coins or I think diamonds. After you play it for the first time though, it does cost 5 stars to play again. Now you might be wondering, what are stars? There weren't any stars in the first Garden Warfare. And I know. Calm the fuck down. So on both sides, you'll see these mission boards. And basically, there are these little side quests that you can get these stars from. And with the stars, you can play the Infinity Time, or you can get these chests that are unlockable around the map. And yeah, some of the tasks might be doing something in a certain game mode, or it might be doing something with a certain character. So it can give you a pretty good range of playing everything if you're sticking to those. Garden Ops is back around, but this time if you're playing single player, you can have 3 AI controlled players that you can switch between throughout the game. Garden Ops isn't the only thing they added though. They also have Graveyard Ops, which is Garden Ops, but you're playing as the zombies, and you're able to defend against waves of plants. Now, along with the graphical upgrade to the main cast, they've added a few more characters. On the plant side, we're starting off with Citron. Now, besides looking like he has 150,000 Reddit karma, he also has 150,000 health. This semi-tank has 2 forms, that being Attack and Ball, and he has specific abilities for each mode. Those being Impeach and Shield for attack mode, then Hyperball and Spin Death for ball mode. Kind of reminds me of the hamster from Overwatch, how you're able to kind of traverse through the map in a little ball. So the next up is Rose, and she is a support, and to be honest, I've not played much of her. I'd say that's my least played character. You know, when I was writing this script, I wrote down I don't like playing support, and I was gonna make a joke about like, oh, I'm so unique and I'm not like anyone else. But in that time, I've actually found out that I really enjoy playing as the Sunflower, funnily enough. I actually think it's really fun to just kind of like lay back in a game and heal. Yeah, I've never really played healer in any game, so doing that's a pretty good change of pace. Now, she's got a few abilities, and those being the Snare, which will trap people in a little globe that captures them and they can't really move or shoot, I believe. No, I think they can shoot. I believe they can shoot. But yeah, it just captures up the zombies. The next abilities are Arcane Enigma and Lotus Enigma. Now, both of these will transform Rose into either a healer or a DPS, depending on which style you prefer.
Alright, wow. So I'm editing right now, and I really fucked up those names. So it's Arcane Lotus and Enigma Lotus.
Last but not least, she has the Goatify and Psychedelic Goat. Now these will turn you into a goat, and all you can do is kind of run around and headbutt stuff, and you have very little health, and you're very easy to kill. You can Goatify any zombie, and yeah, it can be pretty cool. The last of the plants is Colonel Corn. Now, I personally think this was a missed opportunity to have Colonel. Alright, this is a bit of a mouthful, so apologies if I'm looking back. His abilities are Butter Barrage, Bigger Better Butter, Shuck Shot, Multi-Shuck, and Husk Hop. The Husk Hop is pretty fun because you do a little arc while in that arc you're shooting bullets down. So I think it can be pretty satisfying to do that over an enemy and get the kill off. Yeah, I would say to be honest with you, I would say Colonel Corn is my favorite of the newer characters. I'm not too big a fan of how Citron plays. I don't really like his beam he's got going on, and Rose, like I said, I'm just not a fan of support classes. And you already know what I think about the other ones from the last video, which you can check out right here if I can do that twice in a video. Now that's all for the plants. What about the zombies? Now, starting off in the zombies, we have the Imp. Now this guy has been separated from the All-Star and is his own tiny little character. So for his abilities, he has the Gravity Grenade, which works, I believe, similarly to Rose's ability, where you just have kind of a sphere that captures the enemy team. Then there's the Imp Kata, which has him spinning around like a top, shooting everything in sight. The last ability, though, is probably the coolest and is what makes this character noteworthy. So if you can survive long enough as just the base Imp, you get the Z-Mech. Now, this is kind of like Diva from Overwatch, to be honest with you. It's just a big mech that protects the tinier guy inside of it. And yeah, what more can you say about it? You have a stomp, you got some missiles, and you have some arm turrets to shoot. It's pretty fun. I really like it. It's really fun to play around as. And with the variants, the mech actually changes as well. So the one that comes to mind first for me is the Shrimp. I think it's pretty funny. Up next, we have the Super Brains, which is the melee class mirroring the Chomper for the zombie side. Now, besides his punches, he's got a few fireballs, which can be shot at long distances from enemies. Also has the Turbo Twister, which sucks in plants to do some damage, and then the Heroic Kick. I'll let you guys figure out what that last one does. Now, the funny thing about Super Brains is he's not actually a superhero. He thinks everything is a set of a movie. So he doesn't believe that anything that's going on around him is real. He thinks everyone around him is actors. And yeah. For even the zombies, he's not right in the head. The last of the new characters is Captain Dreadbeard. He is the sniper for the zombie class, and just like the cactus, not really a fan. He has a parrot, which works just like the garlic drone, in that you can fly around and shoot from a really far distance, which is really nice to have on the zombies team. He's got the cannon rodeo, which I believe is kind of more akin to the pea Gatling, where he's stuck in one spot, rapid firing at anything around him. And the last are the barrel blasts, where he hides in a barrel and then the barrel blows up and it does massive damage to any enemies around. Now, like I said, I was just never the biggest fan. I feel like he shot really slow. I liked the Imp a lot though. The Imp was really fun. I played with the Imp a lot. Super Brains was also, it wasn't really on my radar. To be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of all of the characters added. They weren't, like, I wouldn't say I wasn't the biggest fan, but I wasn't gravitated towards all the new characters like I was in the first Garden Warfare. Like in the first Garden Warfare, you might not enjoy usually playing support or healer, but you might have fun playing as the sunflower or the engineer or the scientist, because they offer their own unique things. And I mean the new characters do too. I just feel like, I don't know, the new things weren't enough for me. I don't know. Now, actually, hold up, before we go into anything else, these characters weren't the only new characters added in the game. In the Trials of Nomus DLC, there were two more characters, one for the plant side, one for the zombies. For the plants, we have Torchwood, which is, you might have seen him, that big guy, got the fireballs and stuff. And then we have Hovergoat 3000, which there's probably a good reason as to why it's that, but I always thought that was a weird pick. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of a weird pick to have the goat on the zombie side, but there's probably some lore, I don't know, as to why it's like the perfect pick. Along with the variants for the new characters, there are some new variants for the returning characters, so that's pretty cool. You can have some new ways to play with some old favorites, which I think is always pretty cool. Alright, now going into the multiplayer. So first in the multiplayer, we're going to talk about some of the returning modes. We have Welcome Mat, Team Vanquish, Gardens and Graveyards, Gnome Bomb, Taco Bandit, Suburbanation has come out for everyone to play. And speaking of Suburbanation, I feel like I didn't really give the best rundown of what it was the last time in the last video, so I'll do that here. It's a 3-point game where there are 3 points on a map, and both teams have to try to take control of all 3 points. And the longer you have control of 1, 2, or 3 points, the more points you'll get in the scoreboard. First person to hit, I believe it's 50 or 100 wins. And now, if you get all 3, if your team has all 3 points captured at one time, you have Suburbanation. And now, besides getting more points faster, you're also getting 20 coins a second, which can be pretty cool. So now we're on to the new game modes. First up, we have Vanquish Confirmed. This is pretty much like Team Vanquish. 2 teams playing zombies up to 50, but every time you vanquish someone on the enemy team, you have to capture like a little orb to confirm the vanquish. Get it? The next is Herbal Assault, or Herbal Assault? I've never known how to pronounce the word herb or herb. I don't know how you pronounce the H, and it kind of tricks me up. But we have Herbal Assault. Speaking of this game mode, I gotta say, in my last video, I was actually wrong when I said that both the plants and the zombies can defend in Gardens and Graveyards. It is only the plants that can do that. This mode added the ability for the zombies to be able to defend too. Otherwise, it's just the same game mode as Gardens and Graveyards, just with the zombies defending and the plants attacking. There's some pretty cool maps. There's even a moon map. This time, I'll say I personally wasn't too inclined as to like what the little stories were for this in Gardens and Graveyards, but that might just be me. But I kind of felt like it wasn't as strong as the first game. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Now, the next few game modes I'm going to talk about are linked to the Town Hall, which holds weekly events that are which are the first Tuesday and the first Sunday of the month. Now, these game modes are Boss Hunt, which has a team of 4 go up against a boss, and you are able to get more rewards depending on how difficult it is. And the second is Cats versus Dinosaurs. This takes you in the cats and the dinosaurs from the Infinity Time game mode and pins you against each other in a Team Vanquish style game mode. It can be pretty fun and a decent change of pace, especially because the abilities and the health is so different as compared to like a regular Team Vanquish game. So yeah, I think they can be pretty fun, and if you have the chance, I would definitely try them once. They have now added some bosses to the plant side. Now, you may be wondering, why is that? What's the need for plant bosses? It is because they have added Graveyard Ops. So, Graveyard Ops is the exact same as Garden Ops, but you are playing as the zombies. I think that's pretty cool, and that was something I kind of always wanted from the first game, so seeing that is really fun. Yeah, so that's it. That is all of the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare games. There's no other games in the series, no other Plants vs. Zombies shooters or anything, or nothing of the sort. So you guys are good to go. Why are you still here? No. There's no more Plants vs. Zombies third-person shooter games. I promise you.